Welcome to the Tom Nelson podcast. I'm going to start with some information from this hour and a half podcast. Here we go. Suresh Bansal has spent about 40 years investigating the topic of biogenic versus abiotic oil. Some of his conclusions: 1. About 80% of current fossil fuel theory and about 80% of current abiotic oil theory is correct. 2. Both sides are ignoring the scientific evidence of the opposite side for the same oil deposits. The same oil deposit often contains a mixture of biogenic hydrocarbons and a larger percentage of abiogenic hydrocarbons. 3. People sometimes use the term organic to refer to complex hydrocarbons, but the assumption that all complex hydrocarbons are biogenic isn't true. 4. Before there was any life on Earth, a series of asteroid strikes created lots of abiotic hydrocarbons on Earth. 5. In conjunction with a series of asteroid strikes, a gigafactory involving lots of chemical reactions in the Earth's atmosphere resulted in simple hydrocarbons being transformed into complex hydrocarbons, which then rained down to the surface of the Earth. 6. A key compound in number 5 may be tholin, a complex organic compound formed through the irradiation of simple organic molecules like methane and nitrogen, typically by ultraviolet light or cosmic rays. It's believed to be common in the outer solar system, particularly on bodies like Titan.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. My name is Suresh Bansal. I live in India. To be very honest with you, I am a businessman doing a steel business in India. I live in very small city of Mandi Govindgarh in Punjab state. What I am researching on true origin of hydrocarbons, biotic versus abiotic, when I was in 8th standard. I was debated at least thousands of people of both sides to deep diagnose where is the basic mistake, why this theory is pending. So in my 40 years of this debates, I have a lot of things I have observed. This is simply, I am basically commerce graduate. What for geology I have written only by 8th of standard. That's all.
All right, let's launch into it then. What is your theory?
Okay, regarding the formation of theory, first, if we want to learn, we have to deep diagnose why this matter is pending from last 150 years. Even geochemistry is on very advanced stage. Why this matter is pending? I have deep diagnosed, I have debated thousands of peoples of both sides to see where is the main flaw. Basically, there are two theories. One is biogenic theory, most probably called most famously called fossil fuel theory. Fossil fuel theory, and another is a biogenic theory that is totally opposite of this biogenic theory. For the same oil is same, but the claims of both sides are totally different. So both are contradictory of each other for the same oil. Then what is the truth? If the oil is same, evidences of both sides are, most of the evidences of both sides are scientific, then what is the truth? Let me explain the biogenic theory. According to this theory, biomass has been decomposed over the time gap and burial at different depths and has been decomposed and converted into oil that we use in our daily life. So according to this theory, biomass is the main source. And let me explain the biogenic theory to show you with a diagram. Let me split this biogenic theory into two parts, please. One, 80% of portion of this theory is totally scientific. From source rock to reservoir oil, I have observed this is totally scientific portion. And from source rock to biomass, if we go to reverse, it is totally non-scientific and has been assumed that biomass is the real source. They have assumed because they have 80% portion of the biogenic theory is totally scientific, and they misconfused the biomass is source because there are a lot of biomarkers in that. Isotope data is also showing that it has been formed at low temperature and pressure. So they have assumed biomass is a real source, but this is not a truth. This has been assumed. So this is the, let me split the non-scientific evidence in one side. First 20%. And second thing, why this mistake has been happened. Basically, this is an organic origin of hydrocarbons, not necessarily biogenic also. In 1892, in Geneva Conference, it is decided that this is a organic in origin. Organic doesn't mean biogenic also. Measurement of organic matter generally measures only organic compounds or carbon, and so are only an approximation level of one's living or decomposed matter. Some definition of organic matter likewise only consider organic matter refer to only carbon content or organic organic compounds, and do not consider the origin or decomposition of the matter. In this sense, all organic compounds are created by living organism, and living organism do not only leave behind the organic material. So it is clear this is an organic origin of hydrocarbons, not necessarily biogenic also. Over the time gap, with big confusion, most of the people think organic means it comes from the biomass or from living organism. This is not true. So organic origin of hydrocarbon is true, but biogenic origin has been just assumed over the time gap. When they found the lot of biomarkers in it, when they found the isotope data, they think the biogenic, this is a biogenic. This is not true. Truth is, this is not true. So there are lot of points that the organic matter is, organic matter from biomass is a source, is not a real, because there is lot of mismatch. Output cannot be more than the input. If you even see the giant reservoirs of Saudi, you will see only 6% of sufficient organic matter from biological sources there. So it is clear from where the 95% portion is coming. It is clear the source is different. And this theory also do not reconcile the second law of thermodynamics. So this is also not fair to believe that biomass is the real source. Earlier, what Abiotic has done a mistake, especially Thomas Gold, they have suggested another method other than the fossil fuel theory. This is the biggest mistake by the Abiotics, because the method has been suggested by this theory is absolutely correct. No need to change it. Even this theory is not correct, because first 20% portion is not scientifically correct. They have suggested many another evidences that in Russia some reservoirs has been refilled after the dry up. They suggested that the oil has refilled from the mental. So many things they have suggested. They suggested if you have a stain of tomato ketchup on your tie, it doesn't mean your tie is of tomatoes. It is a mistake. So let me explain the abiogenic theory also. According to this theory, the oil has been formed in the deep origin of the earth, beneath the surface of earth, even from the upper mantle, and no connection with the biomass. Biomass has nothing to produce for the same oil. So both are totally contradictory of each other. Totally. Even this theory has a lot of scientific work. Let me split this abiogenic theory into two parts. Okay, they have given many scientific explanation for the formation of abiotic hydrocarbons near the surface of the earth or the beneath of the surface of the earth without any involvement of biomass. They have suggested the serpentization is very, very common. Everybody knows about the serpentization. So formation of hydrocarbons without biomass is totally scientific. Mud volcano, we have observed a lot of mud volcano distributing the methane, surely came from the mantle. And the second law of thermodynamic stability, especially Kenny 2002, suggests that abiotic hydrocarbons can be formed at specific temperature and pressure that is not available on the surface of the earth. So let me split the abiogenic, a first 80% portion, that from formation 80% is totally scientific. What? They could not explain the balance 20% portion, that how these simple hydrocarbons has been converted into complex hydrocarbons. We know very well this crude oil or hydrocarbons we use in our daily life is a very unique chemistry, very complex chemistry of various hydrocarbons. So the abiotics failed to suggest how these simple hydrocarbons has been converted into complex hydrocarbons. I have debated a lot of people, many Russians, many Ukrainians, many Armenians. I have spent a lot of time to debate with them. They have no adequate any explanation how the simple hydrocarbons has been converted into complex. So this 20% portion of this theory is also non-scientific. So now we have to concentrate on the non-scientific portion. First 20% of the biogenic and the last 20% of the abiotic. Every balance 80% of both sides are fine. So no need to change it. So let me explain my balanced hypothesis. First of all, I want to show you one video how the simple hydrocarbons has been converted into complex hydrocarbons in a very surprised gigafactory. First time I am explaining this gigafactory, very surprised, and I want to show you one video for your listener, for the listener of your easy understanding. I want to show one video. Please have a look at this video.
For you audio-only people, we are watching a silent video of an asteroid hitting the Earth.
Here is the gigafactory. Our atmosphere is the gigafactory for the formation of various hydrocarbons and the transformations of simple hydrocarbons like methane, ethane into complex hydrocarbons. According to me, actually what happened, when series of some asteroids has been struck with the Earth in the past history of the Earth, lot of methane, lot of carbon dioxide, lot of nitrogen, lot of minerals, lot of water evaporations, everything has been evaporated and transported toward the atmosphere, most probably in the stratosphere, where this gigafactory has been started for the transformation and the formations of complex hydrocarbons before the rain down back on the surface of the Earth. According to me, that is the main raw material. Actually, let me explain what happened further. My main interest is this gigafactory, atmosphere. This is the first time finished. What happened when asteroid struck impact craters? Lot of dust and everything has been flown toward the atmosphere. It covers up whole the layer of the Earth, and the temperature of Earth has been cooled down. Everywhere is snow. Just let me complete this. And thus from the sky side, the UV rays, ultraviolet rays, and the sun energy has transformed these simple hydrocarbons and formed many other hydrocarbons into complex hydrocarbons like tar, like hydrocarbon substances. And that hydrocarbons has been, when it get totally complex and heavy, then rain back on the surface of the Earth. This is the main raw material of our oil reserves, from where this formation and transformation of hydrocarbon starts. When this there is a lot of hydrocarbon rains, pools, oceans of hydrocarbons. After the time gap, the process of sedimentations of these hydrocarbons has been started. The thin hydrocarbons, very top layer of the thin hydrocarbons, has been deposited into the deep-seated reservoirs, deep-seated locations, because these are thin. As the Russians are talking about, these deep-seated hydrocarbons having very less source rock, or the source rock is very away from the reservoir. These thin hydrocarbons can be deposited into crystalline fractured basements, because these are thin, has not been separated from the source rock, or maybe from the so-called source rock. And after the second, the more heavier hydrocarbons has been deposited into like Saudi and something like this, having a good source rock or called a source rock. And the third one, more heavier hydrocarbon that has formed the oil shale, like in Texas. And the fourth most heaviest, like the tar sands in Alberta, Canada. And the second point is the simple hydrocarbons has been converted into more complex hydrocarbons via tholin. It is totally documented that tholins was present in the earlier history of Earth. Tholin can produce tar-like substances like kerogen, bitumen, asphalts, etc. It is totally abiotic. So, second process is the main constituent of fossil fuel theory, like kerogen, where it starts, has been rained down from the surface, from the atmosphere of the Earth, most probably from the stratosphere. Maybe, because I told you earlier, I am not any educated or qualified scientist. It just have to see there is totally scientific. It has come from the tar sand, from tholin, from haze, from aerosols. Haze is very common on the Titan also. So it is very scientific to conclude that the hydrocarbon has been came from the atmosphere of the Earth. It was liquidy present before the burial history. As the fossil fuel theory says, the kerogen has been formed in the burial history of, no, that is not correct. These all tar-like substances, kerogens, bitumens, all these products were once available before the sedimentation. This is what I have to say in my balanced hypothesis, right? And let me show you how this, what is the source rock? Main problem is source rock. Or it is better to say it is called source rock, so-called source rock. It is not a source rock. What is source rock? This is the main point we have to learn. You see this tea making. This tea strain, when the deposition of pre-germinated hydrocarbons and biomass has been started for the sedimentations, just like you see in the second. Everybody can confuse this, that the tea leaves is a real source. What the fact is, water has came from another side. It was earlier present there before putting the tea leaves in that. When the sedimentation process of this liquid hydrocarbon that were once hugely present, these heavy hydrocarbons along with the biomass has been trapped on the way. And at sufficient depth, this heat and pressure has flushed out the liquid hydrocarbon as the oil window, according to the fossil fuel theory. That is totally scientific. I agree with the oil window, and flush out the liquid hydrocarbons to fulfill our reservoirs. And these liquid hydrocarbons has been trapped in the reservoir rock. Yes. What? We cannot confuse that tea leaves is a source. When the sedimentation process of pre-germinated hydrocarbons that were once hugely present on the surface of Earth and mixed with the biomass In this sedimentation process, the heavy hydrocarbons has been trapped on the way. In this way, that is called the source rock. Actually, this is not a source rock. It is a so-called source rock. When heat and temperature oil window, there is sufficient depth, liquid hydrocarbons has been flushed out to form the reservoirs, as seen in the second photo. These tea leaves are not really source. We are confusing. Everybody can confuse without knowing prior that tea leaves is a source. So same is happening with the biomass. Biomass is not a real source. And second video, have you seen in this glass, is this video has been prepared by me. When I was making tea, you seen water came from another side, milk came from another side, and tea leaves came from another side. What in tea strains, just like source rock, it has been trapped. You understand? So this is the story of the source rock. This is the most urgent point to understand what is the source rock. Earlier, Abiotics has done to ignore the scientific evidence of expulsions of oils from sedimentary rocks, from source rock, from so-called source rock, and fail to be listened. This is a big mistake. They should have challenged the first 20% portion from biomass to source rock or so-called source rock. So this is the story of source rock. Okay, lot of people ask me, if the origin of hydrocarbons is abiotic, then the peak oil theory is correct. I am surprised why you not have asked this question to me. Peak oil theory is absolutely correct, no doubt about it, because when the conditions another asteroid will strike, or another tholins, there will be a suitable atmosphere to form the tholins, and these our abiotic hydrocarbons like methane, ethane, and from gas hydrates, everything will be converted into complex hydrocarbon, again rain down, and again lot of material will be available for us. So peak oil theory is absolutely correct, but the estimations of reserves of oil is huge, very huge, maybe 100 times more than that. You know, on Titan is 100 times smaller than Earth and having the 100 times, more than 100 times of oil reserves, proven oil reserves on Earth. So according to me, the estimation of reserves of these oils is very, very huge. We have to also find the new deep-seated hydrocarbons. Yes, tell me.
So I do have a question here. Do you think there are complex hydrocarbons on Titan, not just simple ones?
So, yes, very good questions. So it is one process has been happened on the surface of the Earth. Basically, there are 4 processes to form this complex hydrocarbon. First process is beneath the surface of the Earth, near the surface of the Earth, like serpentization, like mud volcano, like dehydration. Lot of processes are there. Second process has been done on the atmosphere of the Earth. And the third process has been done on the surface of the Earth. And the fourth process has been done in the sedimentary environment. So these hydrocarbon has 4 cycles. So I am not sure what hydrocarbons you are talking about. if you are talking about the surface hydrocarbons, this may be not so much complex as you are talking, as we are getting on the earth. What when we find some hydrocarbons in the sedimentary environment of the Titan, that will be different. Yes. Yes.
All right. Do you think that there were complex hydrocarbons on Earth before there was ever life on Earth?
Yes. Actually, this is a hen and egg game. First hen came or egg game. According to my theory, according to my hypothesis, first hydrocarbon came and then life came. According to fossil fuel theory, first life came, then hydrocarbons came. So this is the difference. Yes.
All right. And do you think there are complex hydrocarbons that are way buried very, very deep, further down than we've ever been able to drill?
Yes. I suggest, I earlier told here, there may be 10, 20 miles below the surface of the earth. There will be huge hydrocarbons, reservoirs that we can use in our daily life, no problem. Because this is the most thin hydrocarbon that has been deposited first. So it is very good to drill the deep-seated hydrocarbons as Russians and Ukrainians are doing. Even no need to find the source rock. It can be found without the source rock because there will be little biomass in that. There will be little heavy hydrocarbons that can be trapped in the way. So we should not confuse with the source rock. Even there are a lot of reservoirs like some in Vietnam, in Ukraine, having no source rock. This has been deposited very deep in the crystalline fracture basement. The source rock may be too much away even also because these are thin. This can deposit everywhere. This can deposit in 30 miles below even, no problem. Yes.
All right. And how deep have we looked? How many miles down have we looked so far for oil?
We have already done, I think, Russians has drilled 2-3 wells, 10,000 meters below. It may be more deeper, maybe 20,000 or 30,000 meters, no problem.
All right.
Chances even huge chances, yes. Yes.
Is it correct to say then that if we could drill 20 miles deep anywhere on Earth, we might find complex hydrocarbons anywhere?
Chances are very, very high according to me. Because there is no need of source rock, because these are thin hydrocarbons, these can be deposited below, no problem. Maybe 10 miles, 20 miles, yes, no problem. Even chances are higher.
Can you suggest another method to find new oil and gas other than the fossil fuel theory?
Okay, very interesting question. Yes, fine, very interesting. According to conventional oils, the method has been suggested by fossil fuel theory is absolutely correct. No need to change it because expulsion of oils from sedimentary rock or from so-called sedimentary source rock is absolutely correct. I have explained many times earlier. So no need to change it. It is, yes, we can add some signatures in this method for the conventional oils. From the deep oils, from 10-20 miles below, I will suggest they should have to learn from the Russians and Ukrainians. Near the plate tectonics, where is the possibility, where is the porosity, from where this hydrocarbon has been seeped down. So there is no need to find out the sedimentary environment, source rock, no need. They have to just find out the plate tectonic activity from where this has been seeped down. and where these has been deposited. So for conventional oil, I will say existing method is totally fine. For this deep oils, I think they have to learn from the Russian and Ukrainian. Yes. Tell me.
Do you think there is some reason why we might never be able to drill more than a few miles down? Is there some show-stopping reason we just can't drill beyond a certain distance?
Yeah. Yes, we have to develop that technology to deep drilling. We have to think about to develop this technology. Yes, sure. Yeah, I know it is very difficult, but in future, when we will develop the technology, it will be not so much difficult. We must develop the technology to deep drilling. Yes.
Do you have any estimate as to how hot the Earth is if you go 10 miles down? How hot is it down there? 10 miles down?
How hot?
Yeah.
Yes, I know it is hot, but already we are getting 10 miles below. No problem. It should be up from the upper mantle. It should be in the crust. This is the main point. Sometimes the crust is deeper than 10-20 miles. Sometimes the crust is deeper, thick 30 miles, up to 50 miles, 60 miles. So I think 10-20 miles is not a problem. Yes.
Okay. But again, can you say again, how far have we drilled down? Was it about 2 miles, 2 or 3? Is the limit so far that we've drilled?
For the deep drilling, I think 10 miles is not a problem. 5-10 miles is not a problem. There is abundant of oil. Even there is not a source rock. Even there is not a that can be found in igneous rock, that can be found in metaformic rocks, no problem. Because just we have to see how the migration paths of these thin hydrocarbon, how is the migration path and where is the reservoir rock. This is the main point. So I don't think 10-20 miles is a big problem. I think we should go down. I will highly suggest that. Abundant of oil is there. Yes.
I'm still stuck on the drilling down. The oil companies, though, they are drilling down maybe 3 miles or so, but they are not finding oil super deep already?
Yes, because the problem is they are using the method for the deep oil has been suggested by the fossil fuel theory. That is not a correct method. For deep oil, the method has been suggested by fossil fuel theory is not correct. I have earlier explained. They have to learn from the Russians. They have to learn from the Ukrainian because they are mixing both the methods for the deep oils and the conventional oils. I have suggested for the conventional oil, their method of the drilling company is absolutely correct. But for the deep oil, their method is not correct. They have to adopt another method. They have to learn from Russians. Yes.
Okay, and I missed that. I did not understand that yet. I have not understood what you said about what do they need to do to get that deep oil that they're not doing now. Are the Russians able to do it right now? To get the deep oil?
Can you explain? Can you explain me, please? Sorry.
I'm clearly missing your point about what the Russians are doing to get the deep oil.
Yes. They have done. They have get success in deep oils. Yes. They have done very well done. And it cannot be explainable according to the biogenic theory. Yes, it is clear. No doubt about it.
Okay, and just for clarity, how far down have the Russians gone to get the deep oil? How many miles?
I think they have drilled the 10,000 meter. The maximum drilling they have done, I think 11,000 meter down.
Okay.
Yes.
So they have drilled that far. How far down have American companies drilled, for example?
For example, they have gone down. Even they are drawing the oil from the Alberta tar sands. These are not even deep, even 500 meters. These are on the surface. And regarding this Texas, they are, I think, go down 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers, 1,000 meter or 2,000 meter, because they are very heavy hydrocarbons. They have been tracked earlier only. And the third, in Saudi, they have done maybe 2 kilometers. I am not sure about it because I have not written any books. But maybe 2,000 meter, yes, for Saudi. Russians has done a lot of drilling in 10,000 meter or 11,000. This is sure in Russia.
Okay, yeah, this is news to me. So the Russians are going down maybe 5 times deeper than the Americans to look for oil?
Yes. And they get success also. No doubt about it.
And why are the Americans not drilling deeper? Is it because they don't have to drill deeper? Because they can find it closer?
Because they have not going deeper, because according to them, these fossils cannot be deposited more than 10,000 or something like that. They believe in fossil fuel theory. They believe the biomass is the real source. So this also deny this fossil fuel theory, because they think this process has been of sedimentation has been done 1 kilometer or half kilometer below. Yes. That is why they are not going deeper. Yes.
So the Russians that are going down 10,000 meters, do they think they're getting abiotic oil, or do they think it's fossil fuel oil down there?
No, there is no fossil fuel oil at all. All the oil is abiotic. It has been expelled from the sedimentary rock. This is true, but this is not a fossil fuel. This is a confusion. This is a mistake. Yes, one thing is scientific. All the oils, all the majority of commercial oils has been associated with the biomass. This is sure, because both were once present on the surface of Earth before the sedimentation. This is not scientific, that biomass. Many people ask me question, have you ever seen any reservoir of the abiotic oil? I always say, yes, all the oil is abiotic. There are no oil that half of the oils has been formed from the biomass and is called biogenic. And it is not a coincidence that both the oils are same. No, all the oils are abiotic, not fossil. Yes, fossils has given the flavor, as you see in the tea, just to confuse us. This is not a real source. This is just given a kind of flavor to confuse us. Yes, tell me. It's a very good question.
So do you think that it's common knowledge among petroleum engineers in Russia that they agree with you, but in America, they disagree with you? It's kind of a consensus in America that it's all biogenic?
Yes, it is also a very good question. It is very, very difficult. Mr. Tom, please believe me, I have spent my 40 years of life to convince both sides that let us come sit together, let us solve the unscientific portion of 20% of both. Both are not ready to listen me. Lot of my friend, like Irina Platinikova, she is a associate of Vladimir Kucherov. She is a good friend of me also. We are a good friend on WhatsApp, on email exchange. Now she may be a little angry with me because I agree with the expulsion of oils from the sedimentary rocks. She is not believing me. So this is the main problem. I always suggest both sides, let us sit together in one stage, one international stage. Let us learn how to respect the scientific evidence of both sides. There is not allowed to ignore the scientific of each other. You have hundreds of scientific evidence in your favor. even one evidence can deny your theory. What you are ignoring the 20% scientific evidence of each other's. What is this? But nobody is hearing me. I always suggest both sides. I will arrange one big conference in India where I live and invite both sides of you, but nobody is ready to listen to me. Both sides are angry with me. They say, if I talk to Russians, I am using like a football. When I go to the inside of Russians, they say, you say expulsion of oil from rock is, sedimentary rock is true and scientific. We are not agree with you. Go. They are angry with me. When I talk to lot of thousands of, hundreds of Europeans, Americans, I say, biomass just confusing us as a source is not a real source. It was the pre-generated abiotic hydrocarbons were once hugely present before sedimentation. They angry with me. So this is a big problem. This is a big problem. That's why I am blessed you contact me, and I hope this will attract both sides to sit together to solve this natural mystery pending from last 150 years. This is not linked only with the oil. This is also linked with the how this universe mechanism is working, how this planet has been forming. I am telling you one very interesting thing, dear Tom. When I was in 8th standard, my teacher taught me two theories. One is fossil fuel theory, and the second is earth formation. Both has never been digested to me. Never. I was thinking 1 year or 2 years. After thinking 2 years, I wrote a letter to a NASA, one registered letter from my town. I was sure this balanced hypothesis and the earth formation thesis will work. This will win. I was very, very much sure. And when I find this POD of this registered letter has been missed after 10-15 years, and I forget that theory also. When the internet came in my town, I again started debating with thousands of people, because I was very, very much sure and confident that the balanced hypothesis is the only solution. In this method, in this hypothesis, you will see no scientific evidence has been ignored. No scientific. It has been formed and transformation in the atmosphere at low temperature and pressure. So isotope data of the fossil fuel theory, that is the most appropriate data, is also reconciling with. Presence of biomarkers in almost oil is also reconciling this. Expulsion of oil from sedimentary rock, oil window, everything is reconciling. Formation of abiotic hydrocarbons without involvement, like serpentization, like methane, like dehydration, mud volcano, everything is happening. Everybody is agree with this. Even the follower of fossil fuel theory also agree with this. But they disagree with the complex hydrocarbons. I am also reconciling this. This is the only possible model, yes.
So when you talk about both sides, the message we're getting over here is that you're a crazy right-winger, and you shouldn't, if you believe what you're saying, and scientific people should not even entertain what you're saying. But
yes.
Have you talked to maybe hundreds of people who agree with you? Or how big are the two sides in your estimate?
Good question. Because there are only two types of people. If the follower is of biogenic theory and the second is abiogenic, I am the only person between with them. I am always requesting them to reconcile all the evidences of each other. Please do not ignore the evidence of others. But nobody is hearing with me. Even Shri Kuldeep Chandraji is very, very senior scientist. He is the first student of ISM Dhanbad. I have also discussed with them. I have created a WhatsApp group of both sides. In, I think, 400, 500 people of both sides are there. Always I am begging to them, both sides, let us respect the scientific evidence of others. Please do not ignore the scientific evidence of others. Let us develop a balanced hypothesis that can reconcile, but nobody is listening. I think the pre-mindset is the biggest problem in this scientific world. Nobody wants to change his mind. Regarding fossil fuel theory, we have grown up reading this theory from 10th of standard. So it is very, very difficult to change their mind. They are not ready to listen that the abiotic hydrocarbons were once liquid present on the surface of Earth. They don't want. Even they do not understand this. After conversation of 100 comments, they again ask me, how this abiotic hydrocarbon has reached on the surface without fossils? They are not digesting it. You understand? This is the main problem.
Okay, so just another question. It sounds like you've been looking into this for decades, maybe 4 decades or so. And would you say that there are at least hundreds or thousands of well-informed people that agree with you that abiotic oil is at least possible?
I am sure after your podcast, a lot of people will come with me because I have tried to tell this theory very simple way. Even very layman can understand this. On the second, I think it is also a conspiracy to keep the prices of oil up, to show the scarcity of the oil by showing this fossil fuel theory that this is a finite, this is a limited oil. So this is again because when it has been found in the Pennsylvania, 1859, the price of oil was $4 a barrel. Now I think it's 70 or 80, maybe more than this, maybe $100. I don't know, I'm sure about it. So this may be a conspiracy to keep the price up, to showing the scarcity. This may be some good big conspiracy. This also may be the possibility.
How about in Russia, though? The Russians are already drilling way down, so they agree with you, correct?
They are agreed that deep oils are there. They are very, very happy. I am saying what they annoyed with me when they listen to me that the expulsion that these oils came from the surface, not from the mantle. This is the problem. When they heard from me, oil, there is no even, they have no some justification that the oil has came from the mantle. They have just assumed because we are getting that. So when I say this expulsion from oil came from the surface, they are annoyed with me.
Are there any peer-reviewed, published scientific papers that support your theory?
Yes, yes. If you see the scientific papers, scientific portions, lot of papers are there. Let me say, there are lot of paper in both sides have the scientific work. Serpentization is very much scientific. Mud volcano is very much scientific. And the presence of, on the fossil fuel side, presence of biomarkers in almost all oils is scientific. Expulsion of oils from sedimentary rock is scientific. Lot of work of both sides papers are scientific. I am just talking about the scientific portion of thousands of papers.
Okay, a separate question is, how about coal? Is that all came from organic material?
Yes, some type of coals like bituminous coal that has been formed. Even coal is a good example of that. The liquid hydrocarbons were once present. If you see the bituminous coal, something like, Yes, there are some type of coals with high ash, like steel grade coals, some type of coals, very low volatility, very low temperature pressure it can burn. So these hydrocarbons must be formed as the fossil fuel theory suggests, but most of the coals has been formed abiotically, as I suggested earlier. This, yes.
Yeah, so just to clarify, there is some coal out there that has like leaf fossils in it, and that was formed using fossil theory. But there's other coal that absolutely was not formed using fossil theory.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. These fossil fuel coal mainly has been deposited near the banks or near the basins of any rivers, as I have seen, I have observed. But bituminous coal is totally different. That is abiotic. Yes.
All right. And as far as methane goes, maybe the same deal. Some methane did come from life, of course, and then some methane never did come from life. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, absolutely correct. Correct. Yes. In very much brief, I would like to suggest we must learn the deep oils. We must find the deep oils and must learn from the Russians and Ukrainians near where the plate tectonic activities, where is the possible pathway of the deposited, of the thin, very much thin hydrocarbons that flown on the top layer of the pools of the hydrocarbons. We must find out, we must chase these hydrocarbons. This is what I want to say. And the second thing, I want to say the Russians and Ukrainians also must learn the sedimentation process of liquid hydrocarbons that were once hugely present on the surface of Earth. They should not insist the migration of hydrocarbons, even complex hydrocarbons, from the mantle. As I have heard one video in Vladimir Kucherov and his assistant, I told you earlier, Irina Platnikova, they were suggesting the hydrocarbon has been transported to and refilled some Russians' reservoirs after dry up from the mantle. That is not correct. This is that I am not scientific, not even I am agreed.
And just to be clear, you said that the gigafactory here was an asteroid collision, right?
Not asteroid, atmosphere. That is, atmosphere is a gigafactory where these simple hydrocarbons, most probably the stratospheres, where the minerals has acted as a catalyst. There are a lot of chemical reactions when this asteroid has been struck. Lot of minerals and I told you earlier, dust, water, salt, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, ethane, lot of hydrocarbons. There are a lot of chemical reactions to form these complex hydrocarbons that we are using in our daily life. Yes. Second is via tholin. We must also have to observe if the complex hydrocarbons has been rained down through tholin or haze.
So just to clarify, you said that peak oil theory is correct. And is that correct because we need another asteroid strike to actually form a lot more? Okay.
Yes. Absolutely correct. Very good. Yes. Fine. That's fine.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of questions are going to result from this. How can people contact you? I'm going to put your X address in the show notes, but can they email you or is there a website?
Yes, they can. I think the better method is they can contact me via email. This is every day I'm checking my people, my colleagues are checking my emails, my staffs are checking emails, not a problem. So it is better method is email.
Okay, so I'll put that in the show description then, if you're okay with that, your email.
Deep thinkers 7777@gmail.com.
Okay,
This is also I'm using frequently. Let me explain this sedimentation process of the hydrocarbons that were once hugely present on the surface of Earth after the rainfall of hydrocarbons from the sky. Actually, my wife has extracted some coconut oil, and I was watching that. And I was watching very minutely, and I take a video of when my wife was filtering again this coconut oil. When she was pouring after 2-3 hours in one jar to another jars, very thin liquids, very thin liquid coconuts get poured in first, and the second term is more thicker, and the third term is more dense, and the last one is that was some sludge, I may say sludge of coconuts and something like that. That is, I say, as a tar sand. That is happening in Canada, in Alberta particularly. So this is how I want to show, for the easy understanding, how this sedimentation process has been started. When sedimentation started, the oil pools, first thin has been deposited in very deep-seated locations, and second in conventionals, and in third in oil shale like in Texas, and fourth in tar sands like in Canada. This is what I think. So I think it is a very clear understanding. So let me start another input and output. I earlier told we cannot make 10 liters of oil from 1 liter of milk. We know very well one creature is a food of another creature. This is called a food chain. Especially in ocean, we see planktons, they has been eaten by another animals. I want to say the most of that soft portion of the creatures has been eaten by another. So there is no sufficient input. Secondly, according to the fossil fuel theory, this biomass should be deposited very rapidly, otherwise it will be oxidized. Some advocates of fossil fuel theory has calculated less than 1% of organic matter can be converted into kerogen. So I don't think there is a sufficient input. If there is no input, how can be output? So it is very calculative, scientific logic to deny the fossil fuel theory. Even I earlier told Dr. Kucherov, Vladimir Kucherov has calculated that the giant reservoirs like Saudi, only 6% organic matter is available. Question is from where this 94% of material is coming. Regarding, so input is not sufficient compared to output. Let me explain more another way. My wife was pickling this blueberry. I was studying this. She first put this blueberry, then salt, then some spices, then chili, and later she poured the oil to keep these blueberries, keep this pickle for the long time. We know very well ancient Egyptian people used hydrocarbon coating to keep their mummies well preserved, to keep their mummies for long time. Same biomass is a natural mummies because they has been mixed and prepared as a mummy on the surface of the earth. So I always say this biomass has been well preserved with the abiotic hydrocarbons that has came from another source. Same is happening in this large pickled rock. Large is my mother name. She is no more now, unfortunately. So it is better if we say the sedimentary source rock as a large pickled rock. It is a better name. I will be glad and I will be thankful to the scientific word if further we say source rock as a large pickled rock that has been shown in the jar, right? In very brief, if we want to understand is a layman language, Titan is a young model of Earth. When all the oils, hydrocarbons has been recycled back on the surface of Titan, the sun rays, sunshine will start to reach frequently, adequately on the surface of Titan to increase the temperature suitable for life. I want to say Titan will, maybe possible Titan will convert as a habitat after maybe thousands of years, maybe millions of years when the conditions were suitable. So in a layman language, it is better to say Titan is a young model of Earth. I have now let me summarize whole the things in my scientific life. I have observed lot of theories, lot of scientific word. I want to suggest them, I want to request them that lot of theory they start from the 20, 21, 22, 23 up to 100. They do not observe the first mechanism of 1 to 20. For example, the theory of plate tectonic. I have discussed many people. Plate tectonic is a okay. Which forces, which ultimate mechanisms are doing to motions of plates? Nobody has appropriate answer. Same like how the universe is works. They start from the 20. When they will start from the 1, everything will be changed. So my suggestion to the scientific world is always either you start from 1 up to 100. Not like the abiotic theory. They have started from the 1, they have started on and they stopped on 80. This is also not fair. They have to go to 100. Things will be totally changed. When we will see in very minutely things, you will see hydrocarbons ultimately linked with the planet formation, linked with the universe, how this mechanism, ultimate, I am talking about the ultimate mechanism of the universe, how this universe works. Everything will be solved. If you are doing the mistake from initially, you are multiplying the again and again mistakes. So in summarize, please observe each and every theory from 1 up to 100. The results will be dramatically changed. In next video, in next our Zoom meeting, I hope we will discuss regarding the earth formation. Basically, I am also creating one team that can produce and direct one film like Avatar. I want to explain whole my ideas regarding the formation and how the life has been started after collisions of asteroids and how these asteroids charge the environment of Earth to start a new era. May be possible after next collisions, the dinosaur will take birth again, and again new era will start. When even we can, I think, we can calculate the age of this era with some calculations. This is possible. But this is possible, first of all, we have to solve this origin of hydrocarbons in petroleum. Petroleum, that is a very, very unique chemistry of various complex hydrocarbons and non-hydrocarbons. So this is the first point. That is why I want to solve the origin of petroleum. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I didn't quite understand that last point about, are there lots of different hydrocarbons between very simple ones like methane and very complex ones like petroleum? Or are there a lot of other ones?
Let me explain.
Yeah,
Understood. First of, in summary, if we want to understand the other mechanism like planet formation, how universe works, we have to start from the true origin of hydrocarbons in petroleum. Petroleum is a unique chemistry of various hydrocarbons, various complex hydrocarbons and non-hydrocarbons. So hydrocarbon doesn't mean petroleum. Hydrocarbon may be formed with another method, but petroleum has been formed with a single unique 4 processes that I have explained earlier also. First process is in mantle, second process mantle or near the surface of the earth like serpentization, and the second process in the atmosphere, and the third process on the surface of earth, and the last process in the sedimentary environment. This is how is the journey of the hydrocarbons that we are using in our daily life. One more point. There are no two hydrocarbons, though no two type of oils. It is not coincidence that some oils has been formed with the abiotic method and the some hydrocarbons has been formed according to the fossil fuel theory. All the hydrocarbons has been formed abiotically, yes, very minute quantity of biotic hydrocarbons, or you may say very minute quantity of hydrocarbons from biological sources has been mixed. Very minute quantity. That we are confusing that whole the mixture is biogenic.
excellent.
Is it clear?
Yeah, that was very good. I'm just looking at this thing you sent me about tar-like substances: tholin, tar, kerogen, petroleum, asphalt. So those are not necessarily words for the same thing, right? It's these are slightly different things. Yeah.
These are almost the family of the hydrocarbons from this. Hydrocarbons has been separated into the sedimentary environment. Basically, all these are the family of the hydrocarbons from where it starts.
So you talked about these 4 processes that end up with the petroleum at the end. Are all these things I just mentioned, are they all formed within those 4 processes?
No, all 4 processes are necessary for all the liquids. Yes.
For all of them. Okay.
And one more point, Kerogen wala. One minute, please. One more point I want to explain. According to the fossil fuel theory, the first step is kerogen that has been formed by the diagnosis process in the sedimentary environment from the biomass. That is the first from where the fossil fuel theory starts. What? Kerogen can be formed in the carbonate chondrite meteorites. Also, Curiosity rover also found some kerogen-like material similar to kerogen-like material on Mars in the Gale craters. Let me explain. Carbonate chondrite meteorites contain kerogen-like components. Such material is thought to have formed the terrestrial planets. Kerogen material have been detected also in the interstellar clouds and dust around stars. The Curiosity rover has detected organic deposits similar to kerogen in mudstone samples in Gale craters on Mars using a revised drilling technique. So it is clear the first point of fossil fuel theory that start from kerogen is in doubtful. Even I have no hesitation to believe, as they suggest, kerogen has been formed in the diagnosis method from the fossils. But tons of evidence that against this theory do not allow me to believe that kerogen has been formed from the biomass. So it is clear the first 20% of fossil fuel theory is very much non-scientific, doubtful, not true, not scientific. If we correct this theory, this new balanced hypothesis presented by me is totally based on the scientific calculations, taking the scientific evidences of both sides. We have also reconciled the isotope data. We have also reconciled the presence of biomarkers in almost all oils. We have reconciled the sedimentary environment associations of oils with the sedimentary environment. All the 3-4 points, basic points of fossil fuel theory we have reconciled. We have also reconciled the formation of abiotic hydrocarbons without any involvement of biomass as serpentization, mud volcano. We have also reconciled that. We have also reconciled this tholin can be produced from the abiotic hydrocarbons from that particular conditions, environmental conditions, and can convert into tar-like hydrocarbon substances similar to kerogen, tar, bitumus, something like this. I think the balanced hypothesis is more accurate than the purely biotic theory, currently biotic theory, as well as the abiotic theory. Thank you.
Yes, I might be repetitive, but here's what I'm hearing, that we're talking about kerogen, and my first question is kerogen what you would call a simple hydrocarbon?
No, kerogen is a complex hydrocarbon that has been rained down. Kerogen-like material has been rained down from the atmosphere of Earth.
Yes. Okay. And then what I'm hearing is that some kerogen is formed from life, but other kerogen is abiotic, and it's present in lots of other places than on Earth. There's kerogen in places where we think life never existed. Is that true?
Yes, yes, possible, because the kerogen that has produced the hydrocarbons that we are using in our daily life has been rained down from the atmosphere. Kerogen may be possible to produce from the life, from the past life, but that is not sufficient. That is not sufficient to produce the huge volume of hydrocarbons, such giant hydrocarbons. Output cannot be more than the input. Yes.
All right. And I'm sure it's hard to tell, but what is your best guess as to how much of the oil on Earth came from organic sources and how much is abiotic? Like what percentage of each?
Yes, I told you earlier, it is very, very minute. Even it just has given a flavor, like a tea. Maybe 1-2%, not more than this.
Very good. That's good to have that. It's good to have that estimate. Next question is, have you written all of your ideas down in the form of an English, either white paper or article or anything? Because I think people would love to see this written down.
No.
Yeah.
No, I do not know how to write, because I mentioned many times I am not qualified. And I cannot write in a scientific method. So no journal will accept that, no reputed journal will accept that or that type of papers.
Okay, but as far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't have to be a scientific paper. It could just be, a blog post or just an article, just a written version of what you've said here on this podcast. I think it would be great, and we can use this transcript as a written version of it. But any sort of written version that people can sit down and get it all in their head and look at all of your ideas in written form, I think that would be fantastic.
Yes, I will be appreciated and glad if somebody will assist me to write this paper. I am always open to anyone.
Yeah, I think it would be wonderful if you had some native English speaker to help to produce this paper, and maybe even make a movie, like you said, that you want to make a documentary.
Yes. I want to make this whole idea, how everything I want to from zero, from how this life on Earth has been started, and how this series of asteroids has been striked, and how this new era start, how this strike recharge the environment of Earth and suitable for the life. Because this collision is also very necessary for the life. This collision charge the Earth for the environment, for the age of era. Yes.
So are you working closely with any native English speakers on this, or any team of people, or is it all your own work?
No, I will be glad if there is a teamwork. I always request many people for a teamwork to write a scientific paper, to make a movie, to make a documentary, because I have spent, dear Tom, I have spent 4 decades to observing very deeply, and my nature is I am not biased for any theory. I always very much fair. I have observed in my life, there are 2 sides. Both are biased with their own side. If the Europeans people in favor of biogenic theory, they are totally biased for the fossil fuel theory and totally ignoring the evidence of abiotic theory. Totally ignore. And when I talk to the abiotic people, they totally ignore the expulsion and any having link with this sedimentary environment, sedimentary basins of oils. They always totally disagreed. They say this is coming from the mantle. No. And even nobody want to listen. If somebody help me, I am sure this is a mother of solving the other natural puzzles. This is, I am confident, not sure. I am confident This is a mother of the, that is why, because one more thing I want to say. Do you know, when my teacher taught me two theories, one is I earlier mentioned in this video also, teacher taught me one big piece has been separated from the sun and the gases cooled down as a water and the life came here. I was thinking how a one round piece can be separated from another round piece. You understand? I was on 8th standard. My IQ level was that. I was thinking every day, it is not possible thinking. When I was in 10th standard, I developed a very new hypothesis that the scientific world will be surprised to hear that model. And I will mention you in next our Zoom meeting if possible, if you like that, if you like the first one even. That will be a very new idea for the whole the scientific world. How these planets, how these cosmic bodies are working, how this has been formed, and how is the ultimate mechanism. That is very strange and surprised. That is why I am telling you, I want to make one movie for the whole process. Then it will be very comfortable. You will see every scientific evidence is matching with another one, with the planet formation, with the ultimate mechanism, petroleum, all things are intermingled. In next video, I think I wish to the God, we will do the next video meeting also. Very brief.
Excellent. Let's see. One other question I had written down is, do we have evidence of when this asteroid collision may have happened? The one you're talking about, like how many billion years ago, anything like that?
No, I told you earlier, there is a series of collisions after gap of geological time. If we start from the reverse, 66 million ago, one big asteroid has been struck. It is very evidently. And before this, it is evidence the series of asteroids, maybe 2.4 billion year ago, one asteroid came, struck, and life started. Another around 2 billion year ago. It is geological time. It is a continuous process for the life of the Earth. Even it may be strike further.
Okay, so this is good because I missed that it wasn't just one strike that was necessary to produce the petroleum. Did it require a series of strikes?
Yes.
Okay. But so I understand this. There was a series of strikes during that whole time. There was no life, and petroleum formed at some point, and still no life. But then sometime later, life came.
Yes. Even one more point I want to clear. Sometime when this carbon, CO2, nitrogen, minerals acted like a catalyst in the atmosphere, most probably in the stratospheres, it may be possible life has been started in the atmosphere of Earth along with the petroleum, along with the hydrocarbons. I am not very much sure, because if we have a team, we can minutely observe if the life also has been started in the atmosphere when there is with the some ultraviolet rays from upside and the cold temperature from downside, from surface side, there may be some chemical reactions and also may be formation of some life there in the atmosphere, and at life and the hydrocarbons may be possible rain down together on the surface of the Earth. It may be possible. And the second option is when the hydrocarbon striked rained down back on the surface of Earth, then life started on the surface of Earth. Both the possibilities are there.
All right. And just to recap, you said that this may happen on Titan at some point, that life could start there.
Yes. Titan may be habitat in future after maybe after millions of years, when the conditions will be suitable, when all the material has been recycled, atmosphere of the Titan is clear, very clear, sunshine, everything is fine, temperature increased, then life may be start. Titan may be habitat in future. Yes, possible.
Do you have an idea on Earth, after life formed on Earth, how many huge asteroid strikes have hit since life formed? Is it just one, I think, or is it more?
More. Maybe 10, 20, maybe, but I told you, it may be series of 4 or 5 asteroids striked once on 2.4 billion year ago, and after 2 billion, because I have not studied that, but I am sure there is a series of strike. Because I told you one more point, when there is a one series strike, the new era start. It is a complete set of new era of life start. Yes.
And did I hear you correctly saying that we could have another asteroid strike on Earth and dinosaurs? We could go back to dinosaur times?
Yes. This is a full batch of life. I told you, when there is a strike, I don't know how this asteroid brought, which kind of materials it has. Maybe it has brought rutilium. You know one metal, rutilium. I think it. If I'm not mistaken, rutilium shed, I think, because there are many different type of asteroids that brings the minerals and chemicals, because this is whole mixture that creates the hydrocarbons and life, right? So it may be possible. Yes, possibility is very high. The dinosaur may take birth after strike of another asteroid. Yes, I am very much sure. I am 99% sure the dinosaur will take birth again. Yes, the cycle of life will start again.
But so far on Earth, since we've had life on Earth, do you think an asteroid strike has almost wiped out all of it at any point?
Yes, possible. Yes, wiped. And a new era start. Yes. If there is a life before the strike, that is 100% possible, because temperature will be increased. There will be lot of volcanic activity. There will be a earthquake also, maybe 11.10, this 10 or 11 grade, very high grade. Because when asteroid strikes, lot of energy creates, many times of the nuclear bomb. So lot of activities is there. Chances are very high. The old life will be wiped off and the new life will be start. Yes.
Okay, this might be my last question. Are you confident with the narrative in general, the age of the Earth, maybe 4.6 billion years, and different ages on Earth? Do you think scientists have that pretty correct, or might they be way off about, let's say, the age of the Earth?
Yes, age of the Earth, I am almost agree with them. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Anything else you'd like to cover before we finish this part of this off? Anything else?
I think I have covered a lot of new and surprise thing, and I hope when we will discuss another Zoom meeting, I will tell you lot of soup is in my mind.
That sounds great.
Because this first time I am unloading my soup to you as at in international stage. This is first time I am doing this. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
For it. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm excited to put this up and let people see it. So I think I will let you go. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next time.